Well, as you can see, the corn cob is out, so it's time for us once again to enjoy some wit and wisdom. Well, today in the corn cob, I have my recent obsession, not so recent, but of late obsession, uh, the bourbon barrel aged plum pudding. Definitely something that is going to be ever present in my cellar. Even though I think it's 95 and like 80% humidity today in Maryland, I'm still digging into it. And of course, I'm sure some people will say, well, the whole ghosting issue and dedication of pipes and so on and so forth. And I'm not going to go so far as to say that ghosting is nonsense, that you shouldn't worry about it. Um, Absolutely, if that's if your palate picks up on those notes and you don't want to get one pipe and the other, or one particular blend does that, then dedicate your pipes by all means. The way I look at it, I think about the art of pipe smoking in the same way I view martial arts, which is learn it all and then forget it all. Spend the time initially learning all you can, following all the rules, doing everything that um, you're meant to do with the packing of the pipe and loading of the pipe and separating pipes and tobaccos and all those different things until you find your own way and you kind of figure your own way out. And then do what comes best to you. Uh, if you watch some of these folks who have been smoking pipes for 40, 50 years, like Malcolm Guite and Dread Tiger, they're really not very particular about how they load their pipes and selection of pipes and so on and so forth. It's they just kind of stuff it, light it, and go. I think in all of the videos I've seen of Malcolm Guite, I've seen him use a tamper, I think, once, and I've seen him load his pipe, and he just loads it up, goes, and just starts. And the same thing with Dread Tiger. They get their tobacco out, they stuff it in there, light it up, and they just go. Right? Not a whole lot of thought given to it. But I imagine they started out the way that all of us did, which is trying to do everything right and figure out all the different things that you have to do. And then you get to the point where it becomes a bit more natural. And then you don't have to necessarily worry about all those rules. In golf, we say grip it and rip it, right? There's a million different things you can think about in a golf swing. But at the end of the day, it's just go up there and hit the ball, right? It's a game you're meant to enjoy. So don't look at it as an algebraic equation that you have to figure out, right? So yeah, learn it all, get into the law of it, um, and then you can more easily apply the principles later on. So I'm trying to embrace the principles. And enjoy the deliciousness of this tobacco. I'm going to be breaking into some bijou next. Um, I've had that sitting away for a while. I'm going to give that a go pretty soon. But right now, I'm really enjoying this, so I'm sticking with this. Well, there's a couple things I wanted to cover today, and we'll get to the Twain quote in a moment because it's related very much to what I wanted to talk about, which is classic men's fashions in the summer. Now, of course, as you know, if you've watched this channel at all or seen anything on there, classic men's fashions is kind of a hobby of mine, one of my hobbies. It's important to have a few different ones. I just enjoy the history of it. I enjoy all the funny little quirky rules, like when to wear a hat. It's not just inside and outside. The rules are far more subtle than that. But I'll do that on a different day. You may be happy to know that you can wear a hat indoors, depending on where you are. But again, discussion for another day. Now, in classic men's fashions, there are rules and things that you can wear in the summertime when it's really hot. It's easier for us to kind of venture into classic men's fashions in the wintertime where you can wear a three-piece suit and an overcoat and a hat and you're fine because it's cold outside. But when it gets really, really warm, you don't necessarily want to be wearing a double-breasted suit or suit and a waistcoat, right? So today, the outfit I chose is something more akin to like a good summertime outfit. Now, strictly speaking, in classic style, you would not wear a waistcoat without a coat on top of it, right? This would be an incomplete outfit. This would be like wearing a shirt without a tie or any kind of cravat at all. But in trad style, which is what I follow, which is the traditional style, not the classical style, the traditional style, which is kind of a reaction against classical style, wearing a waistcoat is perfectly fine as long as you still have a cravat. If you're wearing a collar shirt, there is still that stipulation. But you can wear a waistcoat and you still have that extra layer of color, of texture, of pattern, and so on and so forth, without the full heaviness of a coat or a jacket. Now, when it comes to the suits and jackets, linen, which is perfectly acceptable to wear in the summertime, you can wear an entire suit of linen, and it's very light and very breezy, and there's no lining in it at all, so you get a lot of circulation, and it keeps you cooler. Likewise, you could wear a waistcoat instead of a coat, and again, still kind of keeps you cooler. And in terms of patterns and things of that nature, it's usually a bit more casual, but you're not going to be wearing jeans shorts and a t-shirt, right? So you still wear your long pants, but again, sticking to natural fibers, linen and cotton, staying away from the wools, obviously, in the summertime, unless you're a Civil War reenactor. In terms of patterns, shirts like this is a seersucker pattern, and seersuckers traditionally come in either red stripes or blue stripes. Blue stripes are far more popular. So you'll see linen suits and you'll see cotton suits that are in stripes like this, in either red or blue. They're unlined and you can wear those. And in terms of cravats, wool ties, neck wool ties, the only place you do want to wear wool. Again, it's a casual look. The button-down cloth Oxford, like this, without the double cuffs. These are barrel cuffs, so again, it's a little bit less fabric. So there's all these various different things you can do and kind of work into your wardrobe, into your capsule wardrobe, only having a few different options. And you can still be fashionable and not be sweating to death out there walking around. And I wear outfits like this when, we travel around and so forth, and we're outside, and I still stay relatively cool. There are short outfits that you can wear as well. Straight up khaki shorts and a polo, some boat shoes. Again, that's perfectly fine for summer wear. If you're out and about in the streets of DC, you don't necessarily want to be wearing a waistcoat, right? But if you're going in and out of stores, or you're going shopping, or you're going out to dinner, or something else like that, you can still wear this. It's a perfectly acceptable semi-formal outfit, and it's not going to bake you to death in the sun. Now, having said all that, and my love of classic men's fashion, we'll get to our quote for today. We must put up with our clothes as they are. They have their reason for existing. They are on us to expose us, to advertise what we wear them to conceal. They are a sign of insincerity, a sign of suppressed vanity, a pretense that we desire gorgeous colors and the graces of harmony and form, and we put them on to propagate that lie and back it up. It is important when reading literature, when engaging with any source material of whomever, to also engage with those things that make you uncomfortable. You should not lead an unexamined, unchallenged life. So, what is Twain saying here, right? The idea that we put on outfits and we put on these colors and patterns and spend all this money on clothing and things like that to propagate a lie that we have a desire for beauty and form, that we have an appreciation of beauty and form. and to demonstrate our suppressed vanity, how well we think of ourselves. I dress nicely because I think that I'm worth it. I am self-interested. I am um, egotistical. I'm displaying. I have displaying hubris, essentially. Makes me think, of course, in our verse in the Bible where it says, "Look at the lilies of the field." Right? I tell you that Solomon, in all of his glory, was never arrayed as such as these. God cares so much for flowers that are here today and today cut down and thrown into the fire. How much more does God care for you? Right? So, natural beauty. I did a section on the poem "The Garden" by John Donne um, sometime last year, I think, in my Poetry in the Bible series, talking about natural beauty and how we desire natural beauty. And of course, Twain mentions that in his quote as well, that we have this fiction that we want beauty and form and harmony, because he had a rather, I wouldn't say dim view of humanity, but he was at the very least not too impressed with great swaths of humanity. But we do desire beauty. We do desire symmetry and form. There is a God-shaped hole in all of us that pushes us to desire that metaphysical perfection. Twain also says in one other quote that the most beautiful thing in the world is a soap bubble. It's completely symmetrical, and it displays that kind of symmetry that we love. And so when we dress well, when we put time into our outer garments, it can be one of two things. It could be, as he mentions here, some kind of outward lie, some kind of way that we can make people think we're grander than what we are. When we have this really dim view of ourselves, we put this mask on, this outer mask that shows people, hey, you know what? I'm really fine. I'm really doing great. Look how awesome I'm dressed. Of course I'm fine, right? And when people dress well for that reason, it's usually pretty obvious. I have a video on sprezzatura where I talk kind of about that the outfits, people aren't wearing the outfits, the outfits are wearing them. So there's nothing wrong with dressing well. There's nothing wrong with putting time into your appearance, as long as you have the right heart motive, as long as you understand that the true natural beauty, the true metaphysical unity of love and joy and things like that we can get from that spiritual other is the center of your life, then you can dress well, you can dress nice, you can take good care of your appearance. And it doesn't mean that you're egotistical. It doesn't mean that you're completely self-interested. It just means that you enjoy it. I dress this way because I enjoy it. The same way that I enjoy a good pipe, in the same way I enjoy good company, good conversation, and a good read. And it's the same thing when it comes to clothing. If you get to the point where you're dressing to impress other people, and you're dressing thinking first what other people are going to think and not what you think, that's when you want to hit the pause button and say, okay, am I dressing for me or am I dressing for them? Because if I'm dressing for them, then it's the clothes that are going out and the clothes are wearing me. And that's not the way we should look at it. So, by all means, enjoy your wardrobes, enjoy your fashion choices, and go out there and, by all means, of course, enjoy your pipes too. Well, that is it for this time. So I think our next video coming up is going to be the exploration of aliens and theology. So have a lovely week, and as always, happy reading.